When legal regulations get ahead of technological developments, the progress of a human society may be constrained. Conversely, when technological developments run ahead of legal regulations, unregulated new technologies may harm human society, defying technological development's fundamental purpose. For the first time in history, AI has the potential to generate solutions that are superior to what a human would expect. However, today AI is not bound by ethics, and decisions made by AI may be considered out of line with standards and ethics generally accepted by human society. The unforeseeable superiority and the problem of ethical control may create chaos in the AI regulatory landscape. If AI is not adequately regulated, such problems will further exacerbate unforeseen social issues that the current legal framework is unprepared for. As an autonomous driving startup founded in 2016, we have launched commercial autonomous driving operations in the US, Europe, Japan, and China to find the most promising market. It has been a treacherous journey filled with regulatory roadblocks and landmines. Such a problem is not unique to autonomous driving but universal to all AI applications. In the past 4 years, when we performed commercial deployments in different regions worldwide, we bumped into a broad spectrum of regulatory rules across countries or regions within a country. This lack of regulation standardization has become unhealthy as companies in the AI sector, mostly startups, have to spend a significant amount of budget, time, and effort dealing with different regulatory measures. Deployment in China. In 2017, autonomous driving test permits in China were virtually non-existent. Only a few governmental documents stated high-level goals and principles in some pilot cities like Shanghai. The absence of test permit certification pushed startups in this field to test their vehicles wildly on highways, where the traffic was more predictable and less complicated, or in rural areas where the population is scarce, both posing fatal risks to the general public. Deployments in Europe Union. In late 2018, we were invited to carry out autonomous driving operations in a European city. It took us over 7 months to complete the application process and launch commercial deployment. In a way, the complex and varying regulatory processes across different regions subtly give advantage to well-established and resourceful technology firm over resource-constrained startups. Deployments in Japan. With autonomous driving cases launched in China and Europe, we entered Japan market. The application and endorsement process is top-down. We had to work with the national government to gain approval and then trickle down to local governments to carry out the operation. The application and endorsement process is top-down. We had to work with the national government to gain approval and then trickle down to local governments to carry out the operation. The whole operation scale-up process took more than 12 months. Deployments in the US. In contrast to Japan, we had to take a bottom-up approach for deployments in the US. The local governments are responsible for inner-city transportation, and these local governments have the authority to grant autonomous driving operation permits. There could be room to improve process standardization and transparency, which would save AI startups resources and, in turn, help advance the technology. The dilemma. The deployment process consisted of 4 essential parts: application filing to initiate the conversations, national level approval, local level approval, and commercial deployment. There was no explicit instruction to follow, and it took at least 8 months to reach commercial deployment after technical readiness. In addition, the broad spectrum and the opacity of regulatory requirements consumed a significant amount of the company's resources, costing 42% of the annual budget to deal with regulatory issues, compared with the average 13% of the budget in software companies. Our lessons can help AI companies, especially startups with limited resources, to navigate through various regulatory barriers. While the specific questions being asked by regulators varied from time to time, we have found that the key to settling concerns is to clearly convey the message that prospectus benefits outpasses relevant risks. These recommendations have been proven effective in our own deployment projects across multiple countries. First, cross-function communication and information sharing are critical to unifying the team to deal with external complexities, as complex regulatory requirements often cause chaos within an organization. For instance, as we carried out deployment projects, our field engineers often needed to work directly with regulators to demonstrate technical progress, fix deployment problems, and address their concerns. Engineers with cross-functional experiences tend to outperform those without, as the former ones are capable of communicating effectively with regulators who have limited technical background. Second, show strong evidence to support the benefits of the project. Most regulators welcome innovations, and they are eager to integrate innovative technologies into their economies. They look for strong evidence that the technology indeed works, and they look for evidence from credible sources, such as publications from leading journals in the field or reports released by leading research institutes. Hence, we suggest AI startup companies collaborate with academic partners to perform scientific research to verify the project's benefits. Industry-academia collaboration is essential to foster the AI industry more than ever before. Third, present a concrete risk mitigation plan to regulators. Most regulatory actions are designed to mitigate risks. The local authority will often carry the blame if an innovative project goes wrong. Therefore, regulators would try their best to mitigate risks. Presenting a clear risk mitigation plan and success stories of deployment case studies elsewhere will undoubtedly improve the regulators' confidence in the project. While in our own experiences, presenting the cases in China and Europe helped us obtain approval for operation in Japan. For instance, development and awareness of technical standards, such as safety of the intended functionality, SOTIF, for autonomous driving, is an effective method to improve product creditability and to boost regulators' confidence. To summarize, our first-hand experiences of dealing with a broad spectrum of regulatory requirements pinpoint the dilemma of the AI regulatory landscape today. We have provided some practical recommendations for AI startups to work efficiently and effectively within the regulatory framework to address this problem. However, these recommendations only make the AI startups better adapt to the regulatory landscape. We are hoping for standardization in the AI regulatory process, which will make the AI industry much more efficient and effective.